I see so many friends of the friends, people who have been involved in one way or another with the Friends of Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park, and or the Friends of Moccasin Bend. There's certainly been quite a bit of cross-pollination amongst the two groups, people who have volunteered for both, people who have served on the boards of both, people who have donated their time and money to both. And we certainly appreciate each and every one of you. So I want to just take a minute to go back in time to 1986, the 100th anniversary of the Blue and Gray Barbecue, where veterans from the Blue and the Gray gathered at Chickamauga Battlefield and determined that that land was hallowed ground, that it needed to be preserved as a memorial for future generations. And it became the very first national military park, the first battlefield to be preserved, and inspired battlefields of the future, such as Gettysburg, Shiloh, Vicksburg, and so forth, to be preserved after. But Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park is the very first one in the country. Yeah, that's something. And that really came from the veterans who wanted to dedicate it as a memorial to the fallen. And so, as the 100th anniversary of that 1889 Blue and Gray Barbecue approached, the Friends of the Park was formed to help the National Park Service prepare for that monumental milestone. One of the first things that they did was to expand the visitor center that created some new exhibits and galleries, created the film that was state-of-the-art in the 1980s. It's been updated a couple times, but at the time that was really a big thing to have the visitors be able to come and see a film about the experience. And based on the successes of preparing for that 100th anniversary, the Friends of the Park continued that relationship with the National Park Service over the years, restoring monuments and landscapes, doing a lot of different community projects with community partners that have evolved over time. And as that was occurring, these Friends of the Park and National Park Service partnerships between the 5 existing units of the park, which are Chickamauga Battlefield, Lookout Mountain Battlefield, Missionary Ridge, Signal Point, and Orchard Knob, the Friends of Moccasin Bend was formed in the mid-90s as an advocacy organization. At that time, the 750 acres that are now protected on Moccasin Bend were not protected. They were being turned over throughout the years to various uses that are not typically things that you might find at a national park site. And out of the Vision 2000 and the Save the Moccasin Bend Task Force, this idea that we really need to do it now to save the bend. And in fact, I'm so glad my friend Will Calhoun showed up with the "Who remembers this sticker?" or ever had one on their car, Save the Bend. And my friend Becky Browder, who's been a longtime board member and involved in both organizations, remembers setting up tables at some of the first river bends to gather signatures on petitions to save Moccasin Bend. Here's another oldie but goodie. Thank you, Will, for bringing those. So the Friends of Moccasin Bend was busy advocating, rallying the troops, raising community awareness, saying we've got to act now, we've got to protect these 750 acres on Moccasin Bend before it's all piecemealed off and gone. There are 12,000 years of known inhabitation from American Indians, which is incredibly significant, and it really needs to be part of the national park system. And our congressman at that time, Zach Wamp, who cannot be here today, by the way. He said he sends his regrets, but his brother Lou, we have family in the room, so that counts. Congressman Wamp at that time was working very, very hard in Congress to try to get Moccasin Bend to become a national park. And at that time, the compromise was we'll expand the boundary of Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park to include this new 6th unit of Moccasin Bend, because there was Civil War activity there too. It is part of the military park. However, it was given the very first and only National Archaeological District designation in the country. There still hasn't been one since that happened in 2003. So Moccasin Bend became part of the larger park. but at the same time, it kind of has that standalone significance of being archaeologically significant due to the American Indian history there. And then at that time, the idea was explored, okay, so 2 friends groups, 1 park, is it time to merge? And the Friends of Moccasin Bend said, you know, we still don't have anything there that says this is a national park. There are no waysides, there are no monuments, there are no exhibits, there are no visitor amenities. Our cause is not over. Moccasin Bend may be protected, but it still needs to be brought up to the level of interpretation that the other 5 units of the park enjoyed. So over time, the creation of the Blue Blazes Trail and the Old Federal Road and Browns Ferry Trail came about. People had access to recreational opportunities and guided tours from National Park Rangers to learn about the significance. But it really was the National Park Service beginning a planning process to create a general management plan amendment specifically for Moccasin Bend that would lay out the path forward for the long-term vision and what amenities could be there. And as that planning process neared completion and the plan was almost complete, the Friends of Moccasin Bend and the Friends of Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park re-explored the idea of what would it look like to merge, because at that time we realized that there could be incredible efficiencies that we can achieve together, so much more than we could achieve as separate organizations. Even though we both had incredible track records of success, the next level was to join forces, to consolidate our operations, to streamline things, to help eliminate confusion amongst the public about why there are 2 different friends groups. Is Moccasin Bend part of the bigger park? There was still some confusion among the public and certainly among our philanthropic partners as well, who gave generously to both causes, but look forward to working with one unified partner. And it certainly will make our National Park Service staff time and energy that they spend so much of working with the Friends Group. It's really a wonderful public-private partnership, but it's going to make their lives easier too, to have one entity that they're dealing with for all of their philanthropic needs. So I'm very pleased to announce that the Friends of Chickamauga Chattanooga National Military Park and the Friends of Moccasin Bend are now National Park Partners. I would just like to take a moment to recognize all of the current and former board members of both organizations. Would you please raise your hand if you've ever served on the board of either organization? It's really the dedication of volunteers like these, our long-term board members, many others in the community who step forward, our very generous foundations, including the Lyndhurst Foundation. In case you missed it at our check-in table, if you make a pledge today for a gift to be donated to National Park Partners between September 1st and December 31st, it will be matched by the Lyndhurst Foundation, which is a wonderful. They are helping us get off to a great start in our unified operations. We'll be doing strategic planning. We've been able to relocate our office, which is right in front of you, or behind you, I guess, facing Main Street in the Clear Story building. That's a wonderful new opportunity for us to be more visible in the community and to increase our outreach to our friends and neighbors who may or may not know that we have this incredible asset right here in our backyard. You know, almost anywhere you look, if you go out in the parking lot, you can look over, there's Orchard Knob. You can look up to the east and see Missionary Ridge. To our south, Chickamauga Battlefield. To the west, Lookout Mountain Battlefield. To the north, Moccasin Bend and Signal Point. I don't know very many other communities that can say that they have access to such an incredible resource within minutes of anywhere they are in town. It's really an incredible thing. And so our goal with National Park Partners is to help the park fulfill its purpose, to preserve the cultural and historic resources that we have in our park, to educate the public about the significance of these areas, and to encourage people to embrace their park. Find your park, embrace your park, love your park, know your park, visit your park. Give back to your park. because it really is a national treasure. We're incredibly lucky to have it here in our community. And as the old saying goes from way back when, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So let's really take that to heart, give back, and thank you again. I'm going to introduce Brad Bennett. He's our superintendent. Has a couple more words to say. Brad.
Well, thank you, Tricia. Thank you for all the board members, past and present, who've done so much to support this national park. We are lucky to have around 1 million visitors a year to Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park. And as Tricia mentioned, this is a park made up of so many special places. And the historic preservation, the outdoor recreation, the opportunities to enjoy scenic views while understanding the events that happen across this landscape, the opportunities to watch wildlife, particularly for our urban dwellers, an opportunity to get out and enjoy natural beauty and the healing to mind, body, and soul that brings, the opportunities that having a national park in our neighborhood for all of those values is so important. And this morning we had the mayor of Chattanooga and the mayor of Hamilton County joining us, also talking, quite frankly, about the economic benefit of having a national park in our community. Those 1 million visitors spend $53 million a year staying in hotels, going to restaurants such as this one, perhaps, buying gear at our outdoor shops. So there's a real economic value of having a national park in our own backyards. That being said, there are many people not in this room who live in and around these public spaces who are unaware of those opportunities and don't have access or awareness that this national park belongs to all Americans. So in addition to the philanthropy and the private donations that National Park Partners bring to help us accomplish so many great projects and programs, I'm especially proud of organizations that we've been working with, thanks to both of our friends groups in the past few years, such as Glass House Collective, Lookout Mountain Conservancy, the Bessie Smith Cultural Center, to reach segments of the population that haven't fully enjoyed the benefits of a national park here in our community. So for all of those reasons, I thank all of you for your decades of support to this park, and I believe that this is a bright day for support of this national park. It's very heartening to have a community so invested in the national park in our own backyard. So thank you again.
Well, I'm going to let the band kick back up. There's plenty of food left. We're here till 6. Don't run off.